go to Brandy. Brandy is next up on PTL. What's up, Brandy?
Hi, Brian. How are you doing?
Good. What's on your mind today?
Well, I know that I'm probably not the type of MAGA supporter that you were hoping to get on the air,
That's
but
quite all right.
I was a a Trump supporter in 2016 and 2020. Voted for him both times. Will not be voting for him this election cycle. But I heard you talking about the conspiracy theories and everything like that, and the hatred. And in my personal opinion, from my experience, there are two types of Trump supporters. There are the Trump supporters. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. I've never done anything like
Take your
this
time. You're
before.
doing,
So
don't worry. Take your time. You're doing, go ahead.
I appreciate it. Thank
Yep.
you. There are Trump supporters that are filled with hate and that are looking for a reason or an excuse to be able to let that hate out. I was not one of those Trump supporters. I'm a veteran.
Thank you for your
So
service.
thank you very much.
Can I ask you
The
a
reason
question?
that I kind of fell into absolutely, please.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I have to ask you this
Go
because
ahead.
you sound like a very nice lady, an intelligent lady. As
Thank
someone
you.
who served, help me understand this. I respect your service as I do for anybody, even people that I might disagree with politically. As somebody who served like you did, when you heard Donald Trump say, I don't respect John McCain because he was captured, I'm wondering how you were still able to go to the ballot box. Did you hate his opponent that much that you were still willing to vote? I'm glad you're on the right side now, by the way. Make no mistake about it. But how were you able to vote for somebody like that when he attacked
That
a
is an excellent
POW?
question.
Yeah.
That is an excellent question. I respect the hell out of John McCain.
Hmm.
At the time, I was not mentally well, and that was one of the things I was going to get to. The reason that I chose Trump was because I was scared,
Hmm.
and his conspiracy theories and everything made me feel like I had control over. I knew what was coming when I
Right.
listened to him. He
So
told
the
me
scare
everything that I
tactics,
needed to be afraid of.
the scare tactics worked,
Exactly.
which listen, I understand that. So let me ask you this: what
Sure.
was the final straw for you, where you kind of saw the light and you said, "I can't vote for this guy anymore"? What was the final thing? Was it one thing or a bunch of things where you said, "I can't vote for him this coming election"?
I'd like to go back to the John McCain thing if I
Sure,
could.
sure, go ahead.
Because I had so much faith in Trump, I didn't believe that he would ever say something like that. I had never seen it with my own eyes, so I didn't believe it. Everything he said about our military, I'm like, oh, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. And the cognitive dissonance was real. It was
Right,
very real with me.
right.
The final straw was, it's probably getting a little bit too much into my history, but I was diagnosed with PTSD.
Oh,
Um,
sorry to hear that.
Very shortly. I appreciate that. Thank you. I was diagnosed with PTSD in 2020. And around 2021, January 6th, 2021, when that happened, I really started to side eye him. In
Mm,
March of 2021, I started getting trauma counseling, and it was kind of a downhill battle from there. I think I don't want to say this for everybody because I know that this isn't true, but for me, my support of him was based around my mental illness.
wow. I got to tell you something. This is fascinating to me. First of all, I'm very glad that you got the help that you needed. Sounds like you're doing
Thank you.
much better now, which you sound like a very nice lady. Let me say this, and I mean this
Thank you.
sincerely, okay? If
Mhm,
Donald Trump loses in November, it's not going to be
mhm.
because of Democrats. It's not going to be because of Republicans necessarily. It's going to be because of people like you. Because I personally believe
Thank
there's
you.
more people like you out there that see the light, that are on the right side of history, whether they got help that they needed or whether they finally began to understand for whatever reason. I'm grateful that you we cannot vote for this man and support him. I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Is it fair to say that you're going to be voting for Harris then?
Absolutely. I'm excited to vote for her. I donated to a political campaign for the first time in my life on the night of the debate.
Well, I got to tell
I'm
you,
excited to get my ballot for her.
I admire people like you. Listen, I didn't vote in 2016, it wasn't because I was, had any health issues or mental health issues. The reason why I didn't vote in 2016, and I made a mistake, and I openly admit I made a mistake. I had no idea Trump was the monster that he was going to turn out to be. I would vote for Hillary Clinton in a
Yeah, me either.
heartbeat, right? Thank you so much for calling and sharing your story. I really appreciate it. And
Thank you for taking my call, Brian. I really appreciate it.
Of course. And I promise you that I'm going to share your story on my platforms because I think it's really important for people to hear. And I'm really moved by your call and the fact that you are willing to admit something that so many Trump supporters today refuse to admit they were wrong. They refuse to admit they might be mentally ill. They refuse to admit that they were duped. And I have so much admiration for somebody like you to call into this show, not only be on the right side of history now, but just to be willing to admit that, hey, I was mentally ill. Maybe I was brainwashed, for lack of a better term, by some of the things and the fear mongering. I got help that I needed. Make no mistake about it. I'll say it again. If Kamala Harris wins in November, which we hope that she does, it's going to be because of wonderful people like you. And I really appreciate you calling into the show. I really do. Please call back again. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want.